Labor Department could have prevented the debasement of our currency. Okay, and that is simply, look, you want to play that game. They come out in the media, they get a press meeting, and they tell America that unfortunately we've got to give the minimum wage workers a raise. And minimum wage workers would say, why is that unfortunate? Well, it's unfortunate for the employers, isn't it? Because they want the cost of labor as cheap as possible, especially the unscrupulous ones that aren't living by the golden rule. You understand? Which is a lot. I mean, you think of all the people that are just self-employed out there, and how the federal minimum wage, believe it or not, acts as a baseline psychologically and in reality. Okay, it's just the way it is. Okay, so even if your city has like San Francisco, $15 an hour minimum wage, it's all relative to your cost of living. You understand? So we're balkanized. We're divided into cities. If the federal labor department had come out and just kept it a federal minimum wage, you understand, then it wouldn't matter. This is all serve the purposes of the rich that just want that exclusive privilege. They like it. They like to be separated from the masses, the starving masses. They like to take advantage of them, to oppress them, to gain from them, to steal from them, to be enriched by them. Do you understand? That's why, the landlording is such a popular thing among them. But listen, friends, I'm not, trying to villainize landlords. I mean, anybody, you could be a good landlord and have the lowest rents in town and set a trend downward and keep lowering your tenants' rent. That's the only way I ever would have gotten in this business. Even back in 2003 when I sold my 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Las Vegas, I thought about it. It crossed my mind. I mean, who doesn't think about getting into real estate, right? I thought, well, I'll just rent this thing out and have somebody else pay my mortgage. I'll go back to California because I miss the ocean. But I decided, no, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to get into it. But I told myself, I said, there's only one way I'm doing this, if I can lower the mortgage. So that means I would have had to subsidize the mortgage. I would have had to get back to work right away and subsidize it for a while because, I didn't know what the rents were going for. But if I'm, going to try to be this altruistic, benevolent landlord that, every year instead of the rent going up, it's going down, and I got the happiest tenants in town, that would make me happy, you see, to set that example and set that trend. But this federal labor department, God almighty, I mean, you understand what I'm saying, friends? Remember, these are people with PhDs and crap, That's who gets into these high-ranking government jobs. Whoever's heading up the labor department, there's a head of the department. There's always a hierarchy in all these bureaucracies, right? So, I mean, for them to drop the ball this hard and heavy and obviously deliberately, through deliberation, on purpose, not incidentally, and whoops, we're stupid and incompetent. No, that's no excuse. They know that if the real cost of living is going up, it's a calculable amount. It's all math. It's the Consumer Price Index, CPI. So every year they calculate, there's been market manipulation here because obviously there's been no genuine disruption in the supply chain. We got, it's unregulated. People can buy as much property as they want. One investor can come to town and tell the real estate, go to visit every real estate company, compile a list. I want all the available fixer-uppers off the market. I'm buying them. Here's my clout. Here's my collateral. Here's, my credentials. I can buy it. I can afford it. Here's how I'm going to pay. So they collateralize the loan, and the bankers are happy. They want to lend out as much money as they can because they make their money off a percentage. That's it. Commissions, right? So you understand how this thing works so poorly. But the employers, would have been stuck footing the bill. And they said, I don't want to do that. So let's, that would have been where we had the conversation, where the rubber met the road. When the Federal Labor Department came out and said, look, we've got to raise the cost of living because of X, Y, and Z. But don't blame the workers. They're just trying to stay even Steven. But the worth of their money went down. So if we don't give them a commensurate, proportional, equivalent cost of living adjustment, then for all intents and purposes, mathematically speaking, they just got to pay decrease. Am I right? Yes, you're right. So nobody can argue what they're saying is pure truth. But do you think they're incapable of coming up with these thoughts and figuring this stuff out themselves like me? And it would have kept America cohesive, so no matter where you live in BF, Arkansas, or San Diego, California, or Manhattan, New York. It was the same wage. And you could live a middle-class life. You could be a homeowner. You understand? That's what we could have had. And it could have gotten better from there, and it should have if we had made an iota of progress. Why? Because your money would have gone up in worth. Why? Because we find easier and easier methods of producing the stuff we need and want. It's that simple as that cut and dried. Even a little kid can understand it. So I'm just trying to be real honest, and I'm on your side. I'm on everybody's side. I want to be happy. And it's not the kind of thing you can go alone, my friends. All right, I'm on some recent current events and other talking points. I didn't watch much news this past week. It was something real big. I would have heard it probably. But I just want to tell people, listen, hold on to your dreams. You know, like that song by ELO. You know, we should all have some grandiose dreams. I've got a bunch. And you know what? Just because I haven't accomplished them yet, okay, it doesn't mean I have to lose them. In the scheme of eternity, I want to do a lot of stuff, you know. I really do. Really cool stuff. I'd like to build a beautiful garden path down maybe in the Santa Cruz area, my hometown. A place where everybody, aficionado of plants and botany and whatnot, can go out there and plant stuff and tent stuff, and just for multi-miles and going to the coast and up into the hills, and just a beautiful place to hang out, benches everywhere and hangout spots, you know. One of my dreams. And then a cut flower nursery on the coast between Santa Cruz and San Francisco. Maybe even in the Big Sur area, maybe, and a greenhouse with cut flowers and a cafe to subsidize the cost of growing the flowers. And great place to hang out, you know. And live, maybe even little pads where anybody that wants to live there can live there for free, maybe, huh? Eventually, right? If the rent keeps going down, it'll be free. And also, I'm trying to start a local innovators investment group. Work together to come up with a product and get it marketed. Start with a cheap one, and we can move on to the others. You know, everybody wants to get one of their ideas, design improvements on the market. You don't have to be an Einstein to do that. All right, I'm on to a couple of thoughts I've had from the last couple of weeks. We've all heard the term, quote, "I'd bet dollars to donuts," regarding such and such. Well, I've changed it up a bit. I say I'd bet dog turds to donuts regarding such and such. I mean, that's about what they're worth anymore, huh? Pile of dog turds. Though our fears and frailties sometimes make us sad, we can all be very glad for our boundaries, our conscience. If I could successfully convey an inkling of my acute, chronic, overwhelming concern I personally feel for the welfare of the least among men, that is for Jesus Christ himself, I could die a happy man. When every person literally cares as much for the well-being of their fellow human being as they care for themselves, they will experience a form of happiness they never before knew existed. A God-blessed, true, forever happiness. Once the effects of such universal caring, concern, and love is manifested and realized. I do not at all believe in selective prosperity, though I strongly believe in universal prosperity. If you are one to require incentive, reward, or inducement in order to feel compelled to serve your fellow human being, to give of your God-given talent, simply to be useful and not useless, I feel sorry for you, and by extension myself and others. Because, my friends, we're all trapped in this S stew forever, and you know what the S stands for. There's profanotype behind the S. Pray tell, Pray tell, how many of our current self-proclaimed altruistic servants of the people, that is to say politicians, would be in their political posts if the job only paid federal minimum wage? Like zero? But if that's considered ethical by these people, let's pay them that. They're our servants. Friends, I got to end it there. Listen, best to everybody, and peace out, y'all. Have a great day. Have a great eternity, okay? Take care and have right values. And be a nice person. Enjoy your life. Best advice I can give you.